If you have to give a speech in the next couple of hours, maybe 24 hours, this video is made just for you. So look, in this video, I'm not going to be talking to you about all types of strategies for building content and crafting your presentation. I'm going to focus solely on what you have to do several hours before the presentation and what you have to do on a stage in order to calm your nerves and to feel confident. Okay, so if you struggle with this and if you are in a situation where you have to get on a stage very soon, then this video is for you. I hope that you're going to enjoy it. And let's get started. The first thing you have to remember about is that when you get on a stage, everyone gives you props just for being there. And the simple reason is that most people are afraid of presenting. And very often when I go to different conferences, I'm curious. So I ask people, hey, if I got sick right now and some of you had to come up to the stage and present, how many of you would do it? Even if we gave you $5,000, how many of you? And usually nobody raises their hand, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 people, but most people would never want to do it. So naturally, when you get on a stage, everyone is looking at you thinking, wow, that person is actually there on a stage. I wish I had courage to do so. And I feel like remembering about it gives you a lot of confidence in the moment. The second thing you have to remember about is that nobody knows how you feel. So very often when people present, they feel terrible inside, right? They feel stressed out and you're sweating and your heart is beating fast and you have thousands of thoughts in your mind. And often there's this compulsion to think, oh, everybody knows how bad I feel. Everybody can see how stressed out I am. Not true, okay? In most cases, people cannot see how you feel, and remembering about it will give you a lot of comfort and confidence. You see, I had a situation in my early days of public speaking where I used to get very stressed. And often, I would be on a stage sweating and feeling all of those different sensations associated with tremendous stress. And then after the presentation, I would ask some of my friends, hey, how was it? Could you see that I was so afraid? What are you talking about? It was really good. You seem very confident. You seem very comfortable. And then at some point I realized that, again, just because you feel in a certain way doesn't mean that people can see it. How do you feel when you are anxious about something? Do you feel your heart beating faster? Are you sweating? Do you feel all of those strange sensations perhaps in your stomach? Well, the question is, how do you feel when you are extremely excited about something? Is it similar? Well, the chances are it is, right? I mean, you also feel the heart beating faster, you feel you're sweating, you have thousands of thoughts. Anxiety and excitement are very, very similar. The difference is that when you are anxious about something, in your own head, you assume that the result will be negative. On the other hand, when you're excited about something, you're not even thinking about the result. You're just embracing the moment, just having fun, right? So when you feel anxious before getting on a stage, try to turn it around, try to reframe it, and just imagine that you are excited. I mean, seriously, just fake it till you make it, right? When you feel this tremendous stress overwhelming your body before you get on a stage, say to yourself, I am excited. I am excited. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to get on that stage to deliver value to all of those people. It's gonna be amazing. And I can guarantee you, as simple as it sounds, it's gonna work. Tip number 4 is extremely important and many people forget about it. So you have to get familiar with your venue and with your audience whenever you can. Because look, I understand that there are situations when you cannot. You are getting late, maybe you just flew into a new place and you have to get on a stage right away. Sure, you didn't have the time. But in most cases, you can plan ahead so you have enough time to get familiar with the entire venue and with the audience. Now, why is it important? Let's start with the venue, with the stage. Whenever you can, you want to get on the stage before your presentation just to familiarize yourself, to get more comfortable while you are on it. And the simple reason is that we humans fear the unknown. If you don't know something, naturally you're afraid of it. But the moment you get on a stage and perhaps you test the mic and you hear your own voice in the speakers and you walk through the stage and you see how the venue looks like, later on when you have to present, it's going to feel familiar. It's going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel like, oh wow, I feel like I'm at home. Right? Now, when it comes to getting familiar with the audience, that has so many great benefits. So first of all, you get familiar with the audience by talking to them before your speech. And as you talk to them, you build those connections. So when you are presenting, you suddenly have a bunch of friendly faces in the audience rather than a bunch of strangers. This really is a game changer. Whenever I go to any conference, event where I don't know too many people, I really do my best to mingle around and just talk to people. Hey, what's going on? Just make those connections. Be happy, be smiley, give them good energy. And if you talk to 10, 20, 30 different people, suddenly you have an army of supporters while you are on a stage. And I can guarantee you that whenever, someone starts clapping, it's probably will be those people, right? Because now they turn into your little support group. And at the same time, as you are presenting on a stage, as you're looking at different individuals, when you lock eye contact with those people, you will feel way more comfortable. You will have those spots of comfort all over the audience. It really, really helps. And so many people underestimate this. They show up late and then they complain that they are stressed out. Don't show up late, show up early, get familiar with the venue and the audience, and it's gonna change your game. The tip number 5 is very, very simple, but actually it's probably one of the most powerful ones because people simply forget about it. And actually many people are not aware of it. So what happens when you are stressed out and you have to get on the stage? What do your friends tell you? Well, probably most of them tell you, hey, just relax, it's gonna be fine. Take a deep breath. And look, I agree that deep breathing is important and it's gonna help you to feel more relaxed, but one breath, come on. I mean, you have more than that, right? So rather than taking just one breath, if you have the time, and in most cases you do, take 10 deep breaths, okay? Go to the restroom if you have to, if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have like a little nice speaker's room, or people bombard you all the time and want to talk to you, but find some space for yourself and just take 10 deep breaths like this and switch off your thinking. Don't think about the presentation. Don't think about what's gonna happen. Just focus purely on your breathing. And when you take 10 deep breaths like this, you will see that naturally you will become calmer. It's guaranteed. In fact, after watching this video, what I want you to do is ask yourself, how comfortable do I feel right now? How relaxed do I feel on the scale from 1 to 10? Jot down the number and then take 10 deep breaths, very slowly, very deeply, and then ask yourself, how do I feel now? And I can guarantee you that you will feel better. Okay, there's a reason why Navy SEALs, for example, when they are in stressful situations, they use box breathing, right? There is a reason for that, because it works. The next tip is a little bit out of the box, okay? But this is something that I've been using myself for many years and it's extremely, extremely useful, and surprisingly, many people don't know about it. So it's about pushing your comfort zone right before you get on a stage. Now you may be thinking, why would I push myself before getting on a stage? The reason is very simple. Your comfort zone is like cold water, right? When you jump into cold water, it feels freezing cold initially. But then you keep jumping and jumping and jumping in, and after some time you simply get used to it, right? First of all, on the micro level, because you keep jumping in and then after a few minutes you don't feel cold anymore, but also on the macro level and in long term. If you keep taking, for example, ice baths, as I do, eventually you just get used to it. And initially when you get into the ice bath, you feel like this, but then after a few months, you don't even feel it anymore that much. You just sit down and you just endure it, right? So what I feel like is before getting on a stage, you wanna make sure that you warm up that water. You warm up your comfort zone. Because otherwise, if you, for example, wake up in the morning and then you just go about your day, and then after a few hours you have to get on a big stage, that's a huge comfort zone push. Let's say you are here and suddenly, bam, you have to jump in here. That's a huge jump and it's very uncomfortable. On the other hand, if you create situations for yourself throughout the day to push your comfort zone a little bit, right? Then the jump will not be that big because you push your comfort zone a little bit here, a bit more, and then the next thing you know, the jump is from here to here. So let me give you a real life example. Let's say I have a speech to give in 5 hours from now and I feel a little bit stressed. What I can do is I can pull out my phone and I can do a Facebook Live about one of my content topics. So as you make Facebook Live, of course, your heart is beating a bit faster, you know it's going live, you know everyone is watching this. That's already a comfort zone push. I may talk to a bunch of strangers that I wouldn't normally talk to. Bam, another comfort zone push. Maybe somebody is given a presentation directly before me. Well, what you can do is you can grab a mic and at the end when there is time to ask questions, you can simply raise your hand and say, hey, actually I don't have any questions, but I just want to say this was a really tremendous presentation. That's it, right? Just 5-10 seconds, but you were on a mic, you heard your voice on a mic. Again, your heart was beating faster and your comfort zone was pushed even more. So then guess what happens? When you have to get on the actual stage, you're not jumping from here to here, you're jumping from here to here, and it becomes much easier for you to feel comfortable. So anyway, this is very much outside of the box, Most people don't use it, and it's surprising to me. You know, I used it for many years, even before going for interviews with corporations back in the day, right? I would use this in order to get myself into this more confident state. Tip number 7. Let me ask you this. How would you rate my level of confidence and comfort right now? And most importantly, do you trust me when I talk to you like this? How do you feel? Like, literally ask yourself, how do I feel about this guy talking to me like this? What about now? Is there any difference? How do you feel about me now? Do you feel like you trust me more? Do you feel like I'm less defensive, more open, more willing to give you value? You see, body language is extremely important. And it's not just because of how people perceive you, because I'm sure, I know for a fact that in the first situation when I was standing like this, you perceive me to be more defensive, less positive. And the moment I open, you perceive me to be more positive and less defensive. But at the same time, what you do with your body has a huge impact on how you feel. So when you get on a stage, for example, in a few hours from now, again, you may be watching this and you have to deliver a presentation perhaps in 1 hour from now, then remember, when you get on a stage, have the right body language. Stand up straight, keep your head high, okay? Keep your shoulders like this, don't slouch, and open up. Avoid close position. The moment you do it, people can sense that something is wrong. People can sense that this person is a little bit defensive. And you can see this in social circle as well, that when you talk to different people and somebody is expressing their opinion on something, the moment you see some of the other people standing there doing this, you can sense that they don't agree with what that person is saying, okay? So use it whenever you get on a stage. Open up and you will feel so much more confident and comfortable, and you will also be perceived to be a more confident and comfortable presenter. Look, many people ask me, hey Jimmy, so what if I'm prepared and then I get on a stage and suddenly I start feeling all of those negative emotions and I feel the butterflies in my stomach, but not in a good way. It gets overwhelming and I almost feel paralyzed, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna have a panic attack and I'm just gonna run away from the stage. Like, what do I do in those situations? And the way I want to start this is that you have to remember that vulnerability is power. And look, everything will connect in a second. Vulnerability is power. So people cannot connect to perfection. If somebody's perfect on a stage or any other walk of life, people really cannot connect with that person, because it's almost like you are not human. You become some type of a perfect machine, right? So your imperfections actually make you relatable, and people like to relate to other humans. So how does it all tie up? Well, when you feel uncomfortable on a stage, you have to remember that people can relate to this. Most people wouldn't want to be there. Most people actually wouldn't laugh at you. Most people would feel bad for you. And that's the first thing to remember about. And the second thing is that rather than pretending that everything is fine when you're already losing composure, I'm talking about next level situation when you are there and you are stuttering and you're sweating like crazy and you're shaking and you are this close from having a panic attack. When that happens, there's no point of trying to play it cool and pretend that nothing is happening. You know, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, it's much better to admit what's happening. You simply say, you know what? Wow, first time I'm speaking in front of so many people. Whew, it is overwhelming. Wow. And when you say it like this, most people will start laughing in this like relaxed, chilled laugh, because they can relate. You can also ask them, wow, it's really tricky. So many people, you know, I gotta be honest with you. I'm having lots of fun being here, but also it is scary to speak in front of so many people. How many of you can relate? Guaranteed, most of the people will raise their hand. The moment they raise their hand, you'll get that visceral signal that will basically tell your brain, hey, those people get you. Don't worry. Like, they understand how you feel. It is fine. So what's gonna happen if you approach the situation like this is, well, first of all, you will feel better rather than feeling all the pressure of maintaining that mask of confidence and charisma. You feel like, wow, I can be a human. And also those people can relate to me now, right? And they appreciate me for being honest. You know, people crave authenticity. Back in the day, most presenters wanted to go out there to make a performance, right? You go on a stage, bam, you are perfect. You know exactly what to say. Nowadays, what's really the most important thing is authenticity and vulnerability, because there's so much fakeness out there. There's so many fake speakers and everyone is always trying to sell you something, right? We are bombarded with all those ads everywhere, and like it feels like the world is a one big salesperson. So the moment people see somebody who is willing to open up and to be vulnerable and to embrace authenticity, wow, they connect with a person like this. So this is a little bit out of the box, but really think about it in the context of your own life. And you know, I feel like when you get into a situation like this, when you really feel like you are almost panicking, you know, just don't pretend. Just let people know how you feel and just keep going. Tip number 9 may be a bit counterintuitive, but it really makes sense. So I really encourage you to work out, do some type of physical activity several hours before your speech. Now, some of you may be thinking, how does it relate to public speaking and to feeling comfortable? And it actually relates a lot, because often on the day of the presentation, we are highly adrenalized. You literally can feel the adrenaline pumping through your veins. So when you get on a stage, you get into this weird headless chicken mode, right? Now, when you go to the gym and you do a proper workout, or you simply go for a longer run, you are getting rid of some of that adrenaline, and also you are releasing all the endorphins that are associated with physical workouts. And this is tremendous. You know the feeling when you work out, right? You know the feeling when you push yourself to the limit, when you just run 10K or did a crazy gym session, right? You feel tremendous, and that feeling stays with you for several hours. So what you want to do is you want to work out several hours before the speech, so you hit that sweet spot. When you get on a stage, you still feel this nice, calm energy after the workout. I do it all the time. Whenever I speak, you know, I hate when I have to do a keynote, you know, like very early in the morning, because I know it's gonna get tricky, but I gotta tell you, even if I have to present 8 or 9 in the morning, I still do my best to go for a run or to do some type of physical workout, because from my experience, it really, really helps me a lot. All right, the final tip, and this one is pretty much connected to many other tips I mentioned in this video already, because it's about developing, engineering the winner's state. Now, some of the things we talked about, like for example, doing physical exercise, turning anxiety into excitement, etc. All of this is kind of interconnected, but when I say engineer winner's state, I'm talking about really focusing on the positive throughout the entire day. So when you wake up in the morning and you know you are delivering a presentation today, you really got to do your best to focus on the positive and to purposely, you know, bring up things from the past that make you feel confident. So for example, if you already have experiences presenting on different stages and there are some photos and videos of you presenting, then bring them up. Ideally, you want to create a folder for yourself where you have all of those things. And before you get on a stage, you want to look at those pictures. You want to look at those videos. You want to remind yourself that you've done this before, right? For example, before I get on a very important stage, I like to look into one of my folders and I like to watch some of my videos, right? It's not like I'm spending hours and hours watching my videos for all of the haters watching this, right? But like I spend a few minutes watching bits and pieces of different clips of me being on a stage and killing it, right? Stages with hundreds of people, with thousands of people. And you know, when I do this, I remind myself, dude, you've done this so many times, right? You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna kill it, right? This is what's happening in my brain when I'm watching those. And I feel like often as humans, we underestimate ourselves and we overestimate other people. So when you see other speakers out there, you may be thinking, oh, they are doing so well, but me, I may fail. But the moments you bring up some of those things from the past, where you see yourself on a stage, you see that you've done this before, that gives you a lot of confidence. Now, some of you watching this may be thinking, well, but what if I don't have any experience? What if, you know, I'm literally watching your video, Jimmy, right now, and I have to give a presentation in a few hours and I've never, ever done this before. Well, if that's the case, then I recommend you doing something called Why I'm Great list, right? So Why I'm Great list is something very simple. You take a piece of paper and you ask yourself, what are all of the things that I can be proud of in my life? All of the things that I can be proud of. So think about all of the accomplishments. Think about all of the good traits about you. Maybe it could be something as simple as, hey, when your friends were in trouble, you helped them a lot, right? Maybe it could be something like, well, most people perceive you to be a very positive person. People often tell you that. Maybe you're very good in your business. You make a lot of money. Put it down. Put anything down that comes to mind. You know, this list is not about not trying to be narcissistic. It's actually about putting every single thing that comes to your mind on that list, because often we humans focus too much on the negatives, right? You look at yourself in the mirror, you close your eyes and you think about yourself and you see a lot of negativity. I feel like it's important to sometimes pause and reflect on the positives, especially if you have to give a speech in a few hours, right? Because what's going to happen is when you create that list and you start jotting those positive things about yourself, whatever it is, the more you jot them down, the more you switch your focus from the negative to the positive, and you will remind yourself, actually, I'm better than I often think I am. You know, sometimes I feel like a loser for some reason, but as I'm looking at my list, damn, I'm actually a pretty solid person. So doing this is a great reminder, and it will help you to feel more comfortable on a stage, because it's going to help you to engineer that winner state. And if you do it with a combination of all of those other tips I mentioned in this video, I can guarantee you that you will see a change. All right, everyone, so this is it. Those 10 most important tips, in my opinion, if you want to get on a stage in the next, or you don't want to get on stage in the next few hours or a few days. I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Please share this video with people you care about, people who also may find themselves in a predicament of, oh my God, I have to deliver a presentation and I don't know what to do, right? Share it with them. By the way, if you want to find out more, bear in mind that this is just the tip of the iceberg. These are 10 tips I just did in one go like this here in the studio, but I have courses on this topic, right? If you want to find out more about my courses, both on Udemy and outside of Udemy, then click on the links below. I have way more content about public speaking, about video presenting, about building online courses. If you're a CEO or founder watching this, I have many different products about becoming a better presenter in terms of, you know, presenting at corporate events, presenting internally in your company, influencing your employees, etc. I also run events, right? So I do all types of different events, but I'm not sure when you're watching this, because I'm making this video by the end of 2019. But I can tell you now that in March and April 2020, I'm going to be doing a live event where I'm going to be teaching people how to improve their public speaking skills, how to become a better video presenter, how to build their first product online, whether it's doing some type of trailer for the website or building a full-blown course that's going to make you money, right? So I'm going to be teaching all of those things. And I also work one-on-one with founders and executives. This is something that's a little bit higher range. It's not for everybody. It's quite expensive, but if you are a founder, executive CEO of a successful company and you want to pursue something like this, you can also talk to me about that. So check out the links below. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and I wish you an amazing day. I'll see you in the next video.